Welcome back, everyone, to World of Gem, a special journey where we uncover the hidden stories, values, and mysteries of gemstones you may have never known before. Today, we embark on a countdown that spans cultures, continents, and centuries. The top 30 most expensive gemstones in the world, ranked by price in 2026. From the very first stone at number 30, you'll realize this list is not about ordinary jewelry. These are treasures forged by the earth, shaped by history, and valued in ways that often leave experts speechless. Some are fiery crystals that change color when exposed to light. Some are mysterious minerals mined only in forgotten corners of the world. And as we ascend the list, the numbers begin to rise. Thousands, tens of thousands, millions per carat. But hidden within the top ranks is something even more unsettling. The gemstone at number 1 is so valuable, so entangled in history and power, that to ignore it might be the most significant investment mistake of your life. Think about it. What if the very stone you've dismissed as just beautiful is actually valued higher than entire royal estates? What if you are unknowingly holding a gem whose worth could change your future? That is why this journey matters. Every rank we climb is not just about price, but about a lesson in rarity, culture, and the hidden rules of value. Suppose this is your first time joining us here at World of Gem. Welcome to the community where beauty meets knowledge. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss future journeys, because each episode reveals secrets that the world of gemstones rarely shares. And I want to know who is truly with me today. If you feel this is the beginning of something new, something unlike anything you've watched before, drop a comment saying, "I like this video," so I know you are right here beside me, exploring the unknown world of gems. Stay with us until the very end, because the stone ranked number 1 is more than just expensive. It is a crown jewel of empires, a gemstone whose story is written in wars, dynasties, and power struggles. Its value cannot simply be measured in dollars, it is measured in history itself. And who knows, it could be a gem you already own without ever realizing its true worth. And here's something important. If you're busy right now and don't have time to watch all the way through, save this video, because this is more than just a ranking. It is a journey into rarity, a journey into the heart of treasures that most people will never see, and a journey into the hidden economy of beauty that has silently shaped our world for centuries. So, are you ready? Let's begin the countdown and discover together the 30 most expensive gemstones in the world. Rank 30, Imperial Topaz, the forgotten flame of royalty. Rank 30 begins with a gemstone that once burned in the crowns of European royalty, a stone whose fiery glow can still mesmerize anyone who dares to hold it up to the light. This is Imperial Topaz, the forgotten flame of royalty. At first glance, it may appear modest, with a warm golden brown hue, but when sunlight touches its surface, it explodes with a brilliance that feels almost alive, shifting into shades of amber, honey, and, in its rarest form, a glowing reddish-pink sunset. Few people expect topaz, a name often associated with the common blue variety, to stand shoulder to shoulder with the world's most coveted gems. Yet Imperial Topaz is a different story altogether. If this already surprises you, share your thoughts in the comments, because its journey is about to take us deep into Brazil's treasure vaults. Imperial Topaz is found almost exclusively in Minas Gerais, Brazil, a region that has gifted the world Paraiba Tourmaline, Santa Maria Aquamarine, and countless geological wonders. But in Ouro Preto, one of the most storied mining districts, Imperial Topaz reveals itself in limited pockets, making every discovery a minor miracle. Extraction is never straightforward. Miners delve into ancient pegmatite veins, sifting through rock after rock, with only a fraction of crystals deemed worthy of gem cutting. Most are fractured, dull, or too small. Yet occasionally a perfect crystal emerges, long and prismatic, shimmering as if brushed with starlight. When cut and polished, Imperial Topaz comes alive. Jewelers often favor oval or step cuts that enhance the internal fire of the stone, and under natural sunlight, it glows as if holding the last ember of a dying flame. Its colors range from golden honey to burnt orange, but the holy grail is the sunset Imperial Topaz, with its elusive reddish-pink tones, so rare that some collectors spend years without ever seeing one in person. Commercially, Imperial Topaz occupies a fascinating position. While diamonds or rubies can command astronomical sums, Imperial Topaz achieves a price of $300 to $600 per carat in the marketplace. But when a reddish sunset stone appears, its price leaps to $2,000 per carat or more. A 5-carat gemstone of this caliber can reach $10,000. And at auctions, specimens exceeding 20 carats have crossed into six-figure territory. For what was once considered a secondary gem, Imperial Topaz has steadily rewritten its narrative. From an investment perspective, it is still overlooked, overshadowed by more famous names. But experts suggest this is precisely why it deserves attention. As supplies from Ouro Preto dwindle and global demand grows, especially among collectors in Asia and Europe, the value of Imperial Topaz is expected to rise. The sunset stones, already near extinct in nature, are projected to appreciate the fastest. For those seeking diversification in gemstone investments, Imperial Topaz may well be the underdog poised for its moment. A golden flame hidden in the earth, a forgotten jewel reclaiming its place in the story of human luxury. Imperial Topaz embodies both rarity and resilience. But the real question is, can it rise beyond its reputation as a secondary gem to become one of the defining stars of 2026? Share your thoughts in the comments, as your perspective may reveal something the markets haven't yet seen. And here's a final thought to leave you with. Which gemstone, in your opinion, could surpass even diamonds in value in the years ahead? Rank 29, Tsavorite Garnet, the green fire of East Africa. Rank 29 brings us to a gemstone discovered only in the last century, yet already considered one of nature's green miracles. This is Tsavorite Garnet, the green fire of East Africa. At first glance, its lush green color might remind you of emerald, but under closer inspection, Tsavorite burns with a clarity and brilliance that emeralds often cannot achieve. It is a gem born not of royal courts, but of wild frontiers, a stone forged in the dramatic landscapes of Tanzania and Kenya. Today, it holds a value that attracts the attention of collectors and investors. If you didn't expect garnet to appear in a list of the world's most expensive stones, leave a comment below, because Tsavorite will surprise you. The story of Tsavorite begins in the late 1960s in the rugged hills near Tsavo National Park in Kenya, the land of lions, elephants, and endless savanna. British gemologist Campbell Bridges first uncovered its brilliance, carrying rough crystals in a pouch and sharing them with astonished jewelers who had never seen a garnet of such vivid green. Unlike emeralds, which are often riddled with fractures and treated with oils, Tsavorite is almost always natural and untreated, a gemstone that carries its beauty straight from the earth without human intervention. Geologically, Tsavorite is part of the grossular garnet family, but its rich green comes from vanadium and chromium deep in the Earth's crust. Mining is treacherous work. Small-scale miners often descend into narrow pits, chasing thin veins of crystal through hard metamorphic rock. Large, flawless crystals are scarce, making gem-quality stones over 5 carats highly prized. When cut, Tsavorite reveals a fire that seems to dance with light, sparkling with an intensity few green stones can rival. On the market, Tsavorite commands $300 to $700 per carat for fine stones, but larger pieces over 5 carats can leap into the thousands per carat. High-quality gems with exceptional saturation have reached record prices, rivaling even emeralds at auction. A necklace strung with matched Tsavorites can sell for tens of thousands of dollars, and jewelers from Tiffany and Company to Cartier have showcased its brilliance, cementing its place in the world of luxury. But what about its future? Many gem experts believe Tsavorite is positioned for steady growth. As emerald mines face political challenges and supply concerns, Tsavorite's reputation as the cleaner, tougher, and untreated green gem continues to grow. Collectors seeking rarity and authenticity are turning to it, especially in markets like Asia and North America, where demand for vibrant green gemstones is on the rise. In 2026, analysts predict Tsavorite could quietly climb in value, especially for large, fine stones that the earth produces only sparingly. A stone born in the wild landscapes of East Africa, Tsavorite garnet carries within it the untamed fire of the continent itself. More than just a rival to emerald, it stands as a symbol of resilience and raw natural beauty. But the real question is, will Tsavorite remain the hidden treasure of collectors, or will it rise to challenge the giants of the gemstone world? Please share your thoughts in the comments, as your perspective may shed new light on this debate. And here's a final thought. Do you believe Tsavorite could one day outshine emerald in both beauty and price? Rank 28, Moonstone, the silent light of the moon. Rank 28 takes us to a gemstone long wrapped in myth and mystery, a stone believed by ancient cultures to carry the very glow of the moon itself. This is Moonstone, the silent light of the moon. At first glance, its surface may appear soft and pale, but when turned in the light, it reveals a shimmering phenomenon called a dualiscence, a ghostly blue sheen that seems to drift across the stone like moonlight on water. For centuries, this gem has been linked to love, intuition, and the rhythms of the heavens. And yet, beyond its mystical beauty, Moonstone has earned a place in the market of rare and valuable gems. If you're surprised to see this quiet stone among the world's most expensive, leave a comment below, because Moonstone hides more than meets the eye. Moonstone belongs to the feldspar family, one of the most common mineral groups on Earth. However, true gem-quality moonstone is exceedingly rare, found only in select regions, such as Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and parts of India. The most prized variety, often referred to as blue sheen moonstone, originates from Sri Lanka, where its body is nearly colorless and its spectral glow is an ethereal blue that drifts across the surface as the stone moves. Miners often work through layers of feldspar-rich rock, and only a fraction of what is unearthed displays the purity and transparency needed to become delicate moonstone. Geologically, the magic of moonstone lies in the way two intergrown feldspar species, orthoclase and albite, form microscopic layers within the crystal. As light scatters between these layers, it creates the floating blue or white glow that seems to hover inside the stone. In rough form, moonstone may appear cloudy or milky, but once polished into cabochons, the traditional dome-shaped cuts, the stone comes alive with a glow that seems to move like mist. On the market, moonstone spans a wide range of prices. Ordinary stones may sell for modest prices, but fine-quality blue sheen moonstones can command $200 to $800 per carat, with exceptional pieces surpassing $1,000 per carat. Large transparent stones with an intense, centered blue glow are so rare that they are often immediately purchased by collectors or jewelers specializing in bespoke designs. Vintage moonstone jewelry from the Art Nouveau era, particularly pieces created by masters such as René Lalique, can fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction, underscoring its enduring appeal. However, moonstone is not just about past romance. Its future value is also drawing attention. As supplies of high-grade Sri Lankan stones decline and new sources fail to match their quality, the scarcity of moonstone is becoming increasingly apparent. Collectors are beginning to recognize its uniqueness, and with renewed interest in mystical and spiritual gemstones, moonstone is poised to gain both cultural and financial significance in 2026. Jewelry houses that once overlooked it are now revisiting the gem, framing it not as a secondary stone, but as a centerpiece of celestial design. A stone of silence and subtlety, moonstone reflects light not with fire, but with mystery. It is a reminder that value is not always measured by brilliance or hardness, but sometimes by the way a gem can stir the human imagination. But here lies the question, will moonstone remain a poet's gem, treasured for its symbolism, or will it rise to claim a stronger position in the world of high-value stones? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your perspective adds to this dialogue. And here's one final thought to spark debate. Do you believe moonstone's mystical allure could one day rival the fame, if not the price, of diamonds and sapphires? Rank 27, Zircon, the ancient spark of the earth. Rank 27 introduces us to one of the oldest gemstones on Earth, a stone that has witnessed the birth of continents and the rise of civilizations. This is Zircon, the ancient spark of the earth. Too often mistaken for cheap substitutes, zircon has suffered from a reputation it does not deserve. Yet the truth is that zircon is a natural gemstone of extraordinary brilliance, unmatched fire, and an age that stretches back over 4 billion years. Imagine wearing a jewel older than the mountains themselves. That is the silent wonder of zircon. If this surprises you, share your reaction in the comments, because zircon's story is not what most people think it is. Zircon occurs in many parts of the world, but the most famous sources for fine gems are Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Myanmar, and Tanzania. The most prized zircons are blue, discovered mainly in Cambodia and Sri Lanka, with hues ranging from delicate sky blue to rich, saturated royal tones. Yet zircon's beauty is not limited to its blue color. It can also appear in golden, orange, red, and even rare green shades, each with a brilliance that often rivals or surpasses that of diamonds. When cut properly, zircon's high refractive index produces flashes of rainbow fire that leave an unforgettable impression. Mining zircon requires careful work in alluvial deposits and river gravels, where water erosion has carried crystals down from their original host rocks. Gem hunters sift through sediments, often under harsh tropical conditions, in the hope of finding crystals clear enough for cutting. Rough zircon may look dull, but once shaped into faceted stones, its brilliance astonishes even experienced jewelers. No two zircons are quite alike. Each carries within it subtle tones and fiery flashes that tell of its ancient journey beneath the Earth's crust. In the marketplace, zircon remains surprisingly undervalued compared to other gemstones of similar brilliance. Fine blue zircons typically sell for $300 to $1,000 per carat, with exceptionally vivid, well-cut stones exceeding that range. Rare colors, such as intense golden or green zircons, can command higher premiums among collectors. Large, clean stones over 10 carats are scarce, and when they appear at auction, they quickly draw attention for their size and sparkle. Yet zircon's genuine fascination lies not only in its beauty, but also in its history. Tiny zircon crystals found in Australia have been dated to over 4.3 billion years old, making them the oldest known minerals on the planet. These ancient fragments carry clues about the Earth's earliest crust and atmosphere, making zircon not just a jewel, but a time capsule of planetary history. When you hold a piece of zircon, you are holding a fragment of Earth's beginning, a perspective that elevates it far beyond a simple accessory. As we look toward 2026, experts see zircon gaining momentum. Its reputation is slowly being reclaimed from decades of confusion with synthetic cubic zirconia, and collectors are beginning to understand its authenticity, rarity, and geological importance. In a world that increasingly values natural history and authenticity, zircon has the potential to climb in both cultural and financial significance. Its fire is real, its history unmatched, and its market still ripe for discovery. A gemstone that glows with ancient light, zircon is a reminder that value is not always about hype, but about endurance. The question is, will zircon remain the hidden secret of gemologists? Or will it finally claim its rightful place among the greats? Please share your thoughts in the comments, as your perspective helps shape this conversation. And here's a final thought. Do you believe zircon's 4 billion year history will one day make it more desirable than even modern symbols, such as diamonds? Rank 26, Tourmaline, the electric rainbow of the Earth. Rank 26 brings us to one of the most versatile and colorful gemstones known to humanity, a mineral that has been called the electric rainbow of the Earth. This is tourmaline, a stone whose palette stretches wider than almost any other, from deep reds and forest greens to neon blues and even bicolored crystals that seem to have been painted by nature itself. For centuries, it has fascinated collectors, mystics, and scientists alike. And in today's market, its finest varieties command prices that rival some of the world's legendary gems. If you've only known tourmaline as a secondary stone, leave a comment, because its true story may change the way you see it forever. Tourmaline is mined in many parts of the world: Brazil, Afghanistan, Mozambique, Nigeria, and the United States. But certain localities produce legendary stones. In Brazil, The Paraiba region stunned the gem world in the 1980s with a neon blue-green variety colored by copper. Stones so vibrant they seem lit from within. In Afghanistan and Pakistan, the rugged mountains yield pink and green tourmalines of remarkable saturation. And in Mozambique, modern mines produce large, clean crystals in a full spectrum of hues. Each source adds a unique chapter to the story of tourmaline, making it one of the most geographically widespread and culturally diverse gemstones on Earth. The beauty of tourmaline lies not only in its colors, but in its geological diversity. Crystals often grow in elongated prismatic forms, sometimes banded with multiple colors in a single stone, pink fading to green, known as watermelon tourmaline. These natural masterpieces require skilled cutting to highlight their zones of color, often resulting in striking gems that look like frozen rainbows. Tourmaline also exhibits strong pleochroism, meaning it displays different colors when viewed from various angles, a feature that enhances its intrigue. In terms of market value, tourmaline spans a wide range of values. Common varieties may sell for modest sums, but fine rubellites, deep red tourmalines, and rich blue indicolites can command $500 to $1,200 per carat. The Paraiba variety, however, is in a league of its own. With its electric neon blue and green tones, genuine Paraiba tourmaline can exceed $30,000 per carat, making it one of the most expensive colored stones in the world. Auction houses like Christie's and Sotheby's have sold Paraiba specimens at record-breaking prices, placing them alongside rubies, sapphires, and emeralds in the hierarchy of elite gems. Yet beyond its monetary value, tourmaline's cultural symbolism is equally powerful. In ancient Sri Lanka, tourmaline was believed to have traveled along a rainbow, absorbing every color along the way. In Chinese history, pink tourmaline was a favorite of Empress Dowager Cixi, who adorned her palace with carvings and jewelry crafted from the stone. Today, its reputation continues to grow, not only as a fashion gem, but also as a stone of energy, often associated with balance and protection in metaphysical traditions. Looking ahead to 2026, tourmaline's outlook is bright. Demand for Paraiba continues to rise, while supply dwindles, driving prices steadily upward. Even non-Paraiba varieties are gaining recognition as collectors diversify and seek stones with unique colors and natural beauty. Tourmaline's strength lies in its diversity. There is a shade for every taste, and within that rainbow, both affordable entry points and ultra-rare treasures can be found. A gemstone that unites the world's palette into a single crystal, tourmaline embodies variety, energy, and rarity. But the real question is, will its rainbow nature keep it divided into niches, or will tourmaline be recognized as one of the crown jewels of the gemstone world? Share your perspective in the comments, because every collector's view shapes the market. And one final question to spark debate. Do you believe Paraiba tourmaline will continue to rise until it rivals or even surpasses emerald and ruby in value? Rank 25, Andalusite, the shape-shifting gem of the earth. Rank 25 introduces us to a gemstone that changes its appearance every time you look at it. A crystal of shifting colors and ancient mystery. This is Andalusite, the shape-shifting gem of the earth. To the untrained eye, it may appear subtle, even modest, but tilted ever so slightly, and it transforms, revealing flashes of green, red, and brown, all within the same stone. This optical effect, known as pleochroism, makes Andalusite one of the most intriguing gems for those who seek depth and character rather than superficial sparkle. If you didn't expect this humble mineral to stand among the world's most valuable stones, leave a comment below, because Andalusite has a story worth uncovering. The name Andalusite originates from the Spanish region of Andalusia, where it was first identified. However, its most prized varieties are mined in Brazil, Sri Lanka, and Spain. The finest crystals often emerge from metamorphic rocks, which are formed under immense pressure and heat. Unlike the fiery brilliance of diamonds or the saturated tones of rubies, Andalusite's appeal lies in its complexity. A gem that looks different from every angle, almost as if nature painted multiple canvases within a single crystal. Geologically, Andalusite is part of the aluminosilicate family, closely related to kyanite and sillimanite. What sets it apart is its extraordinary pleochroism. Hold one stone up to the light, and you may see earthy greens shifting into coppery reds, sometimes with golden undertones, a visual reminder of the Earth's restless transformations. Larger crystals often reveal this shifting palette even more dramatically, making every cut gem a one-of-a-kind treasure. The process of cutting Andalusite is an art in itself. Lapidaries must carefully orient the stone to capture its best interplay of colors, often shaping it into oval or cushion cuts to maximize its shifting tones. When set in jewelry, Andalusite doesn't shout for attention like a diamond. Instead, it whispers complexity, rewarding those who take the time to look deeper. For this reason, it has long been a favorite of collectors and jewelers who appreciate subtler forms of beauty. In terms of value, Andalusite is rare but not unattainable. Fine stones typically range from $600 to $1,500 per carat, depending on size and quality. Exceptional pieces with vivid, contrasting pleochroism can command higher prices, especially if they exceed 2 or 3 carats in clarity and brilliance. While it may not yet rival the commercial giants like sapphire or emerald, Andalusite occupies a special niche, a connoisseur's gem that carries both rarity and individuality. From an investment perspective, Andalusite's growth potential lies in its uniqueness. As global collectors increasingly seek stones with distinctive optical phenomena, such as color change garnets or Alexandrite, Andalusite's reputation is steadily rising. In 2026, analysts suggest it could see renewed interest, particularly as designers seek alternatives that stand out from mainstream gems. Its natural, untreated nature also appeals to buyers wary of heavily enhanced stones. A gemstone that shifts with every glance, Andalusite is a reminder that beauty is not static but dynamic, just like the earth that gave it life. It may not blaze like a diamond or glow like an emerald, but in its quiet complexity, it reveals a character no other gem can replicate. The question now is, will Andalusite remain the secret of specialists, or will the world finally recognize its transformative magic? Share your thoughts in the comments because your perspective shapes how these stories unfold. And one final question to spark debate. Do you believe Andalusite's unique shifting colors could one day make it a must-have in every serious gemstone collection? Rank 24. Peridot, the green fire born from volcanoes. Rank 24 leads us to a gemstone forged in fire, a crystal born from deep within the Earth's mantle and delivered to the surface by the violence of volcanoes. This is Peridot, the green fire born from volcanoes. To some, it is simply a semi-precious stone, but to those who have studied its history, it is a jewel of mystery, worshipped by ancient cultures and treasured for its intense green glow. Imagine holding in your hand not just a gem, but a fragment of Earth's inner fire, carried upward through molten rock. If that vision surprises you, leave a comment below, because Peridot's journey is far older and more dramatic than most people realize. Peridot, also known as olivine, has been mined for over 3,500 years. Ancient Egyptians called it the gem of the sun and believed it could ward off evil spirits. Some of the earliest deposits were found on the island of Tsavorite in the Red Sea, a location so remote and fiercely guarded that miners once worked under threat of death if caught stealing even the smallest crystal. Today, the most prized peridots come from Pakistan, Myanmar, and the Kashmir region, where the stones display a deep olive-green color unlike any other. Other sources include the volcanic soils of Hawaii, where peridot grains still wash ashore, glittering like green sand under the Pacific sun. Geologically, peridot is unique because it forms not in the Earth's crust, but in the mantle, roughly 20 to 55 miles beneath our feet. It rises to the surface only during volcanic eruptions or through tectonic activity. Occasionally, peridot crystals have even been discovered in meteorites, suggesting that this gem is not only of Earth, but of the stars themselves. Its green hue comes from iron within its structure, giving it colors that range from bright lime to deep olive, depending on the concentration and the lighting. When cut into gemstones, peridot reveals a brilliance that is warm and inviting. Its crystals often form in prismatic shapes, and lapidaries carefully shape them into ovals, cushions, or emerald cuts to enhance their natural glow. Fine peridot has no need for enhancement. Unlike many emeralds or sapphires, it is rarely treated, which makes its beauty entirely authentic. In terms of market value, Peridot remains surprisingly accessible, yet fine specimens can achieve significant prices. Most peridots sell between $800 and $2,000 per carat for high-quality stones. However, exceptional gems from Pakistan, particularly those over 10 carats with intense color and clarity, can fetch significantly higher sums. A well-matched necklace or pair of earrings can sell for tens of thousands of dollars at auction, and collectors increasingly seek out large, flawless stones as supplies from traditional sources dwindle. From an investment standpoint, Peridot's outlook is intriguing. While it may not yet rival rubies or sapphires, demand is growing steadily, especially in Asian markets where its natural, untreated origins are prized. With supplies from Kashmir and Myanmar becoming increasingly challenging to access due to both geological and geopolitical factors, prices for fine peridot are expected to rise in 2026. Add to that the romantic story of a gem born in volcanoes, and sometimes from outer space, and you have a stone with both narrative appeal and genuine scarcity. A green fire from the depths of the earth. Peridot is more than just a stone of beauty. It serves as a reminder of our planet's restless heart and humanity's ancient fascination with the forces that shape our world. But the question remains, will Peridot always stay in the shadow of emerald? Or could its volcanic origins and authentic glow elevate it to new heights in the gemstone world? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your perspective may change how collectors see this gem. And one last question to spark discussion. Do you believe Peridot, with its volcanic and even extraterrestrial origins, could one day rival emerald in both fame and price? Rank 23, Aquamarine, the ocean's eternal light. Rank 23 draws us into the depths of the sea, not literally, but through a gemstone whose name itself means water of the sea. This is Aquamarine, the ocean's eternal light. Imagine a stone so clear and calm that ancient sailors believed it was the treasure of mermaids, carried ashore to protect them on stormy voyages. At first glance, Aquamarine may seem serene and delicate, but in its finest form, it is a gem of power, clarity, and value. If you thought Aquamarine was too familiar to belong among the world's most expensive stones, leave a comment below, because the truth is far more fascinating. Aquamarine is a member of the beryl family, the same mineral group that gave us emerald. However, unlike emerald, which is often fractured and clouded, Aquamarine is celebrated for its purity and transparency. Its finest sources are in Brazil, Pakistan, Nigeria, and Madagascar. However, Brazil's Santa Maria mines produce the legendary Santa Maria Blue aquamarines, stones of an intense oceanic blue that command the highest prices. In Pakistan's Karakoram Mountains, miners risk their lives on sheer cliffs to extract aquamarine crystals from pegmatite veins, hauling them down in baskets tied with ropes. A reminder that beauty often demands courage. Geologically, aquamarine forms in granite pegmatites, where beryl crystals grow slowly under immense pressure and temperature conditions. In their raw state, aquamarines are long, six-sided prisms, sometimes as large as a man's arm, their pale blue-green tones muted until the cutter reveals their brilliance. When faceted, aquamarine radiates a cool, calming light, its clarity so striking that it seems almost like frozen water captured in crystal. Jewelers favor step cuts and emerald cuts to highlight their transparency, although cabochons are also prized for their softer, glowing appearance. On the market, aquamarine is more valuable than many expect. While pale stones are relatively affordable, fine gems with intense blue hues can command $1,000 to $3,000 per carat, and the rare Santa Maria blue specimens can exceed $10,000 per carat. Large, flawless aquamarines, sometimes over 50 carats, are often auctioned as statement pieces, mounted in necklaces or tiaras that showcase their sea-like depth. Some of the most famous aquamarines were given as royal gifts, including the massive stone presented to Queen Elizabeth II, highlighting its long association with prestige and nobility. From an investment perspective, aquamarine's future is promising. As emerald supplies decline and consumers increasingly value clarity and untreated stones, Aquamarine offers a compelling alternative. Its natural beauty requires little to no treatment, and the finest specimens are becoming rarer as older mines are depleted. In 2026, analysts predict steady price growth, particularly for large Santa Maria blue aquamarines that have already proven scarce. Collectors who once overlooked this gem are now reevaluating it, drawn not only to its beauty, but to its potential as an undervalued treasure. A stone of the sea, aquamarine has long symbolized calm, clarity, and eternal youth. Its color speaks of waves, horizons, and the mysteries of the deep. But the real question is, will aquamarine always remain a poetic stone of tranquility, or is it ready to emerge as one of the great contenders in the gemstone world? Share your thoughts in the comments because your insight adds depth to this conversation. And one final question to ignite debate. Do you believe aquamarine's serene beauty could one day rival sapphire in both prestige and price? Rank 22. Chrysoberyl cat's eye, the watchful stone of fortune. Rank 22 brings us to a gemstone that seems alive, a stone with a gaze that follows you no matter where you turn. This is Chrysoberyl cat's eye, the watchful stone of fortune. At first glance, it appears to be a golden-green crystal, but tilted in the light, and a sharp band of silver-white emerges, slicing across its surface like the focused pupil of a great cat. This optical effect, called chatoyancy, has fascinated people for centuries. In ancient India and Sri Lanka, cat's eye was believed to protect its wearer from evil and misfortune, earning the title the Watchful Guardian. If you've never imagined such a stone ranking among the world's most expensive, leave a comment below, because cat's eye chrysoberyl has more to reveal. The finest sources of chrysoberyl cat's eye are found in Sri Lanka, Brazil, and India, though Sri Lanka remains the most famous for producing stones with the sharpest and most vivid eye effect. In the rough, the crystals appear as yellowish-green or honey-colored masses, but when cut into smooth cabochons, something magical happens. A single luminous band appears to hover across the surface, shifting like a living eye as the stone moves. Under intense light, a phenomenon known as milk and honey occurs, where one side of the band glows golden, while the other fades into a soft shadow, enhancing its lifelike quality. Geologically, chrysoberyl is a beryllium aluminum oxide, one of the hardest and most durable gemstones after corundum and diamond. The cat's eye effect arises from parallel, needle-like inclusions within the crystal that scatter light into a focused band. Cutting is crucial. Only cabochon shapes reveal the impact, and the sharper the band, the more valuable the gem becomes. A perfect cat's eye appears so vivid that it seems to blink when rotated, giving the stone its mystical allure. In terms of market value, chrysoberyl cat's eye is highly respected among collectors and in many Asian cultures. Fine quality stones typically command $1,500 to $3,000 per carat, but exceptional pieces, large, flawless, with a razor-sharp eye, can reach $10,000 per carat or more. Auction records include cat's eyes set in antique Indian jewelry, fetching tens of thousands of dollars, which are cherished not only for their beauty, but also for their association with wealth, protection, and spiritual power. Culturally, cat's eye has long been regarded as a talisman. In Vedic astrology, it is associated with the planet Ketu and is believed to bring discipline, protection, and unexpected good fortune. Some traditions say that wearing a cat's eye can turn bad luck into prosperity, which is why it remains a highly sought-after stone in South Asia, far beyond its ornamental value. This symbolic importance ensures that demand remains strong, especially for gems with excellent chatoyancy. Looking ahead to 2026, cat's eye chrysoberyl is expected to see steady value growth. As global awareness spreads beyond traditional markets, collectors in Europe and North America are beginning to appreciate its rarity and beauty. Unlike many other gems, it is rarely treated, making its natural allure even more prized. With limited sources and increasing demand, its status as both an investment stone and a cultural icon is only likely to rise. A gemstone that seems to watch over its owner, cat's eye chrysoberyl is more than just a jewel. It is a living symbol of protection, mystery, and fortune. But the question remains, will cat's eye always remain a talisman for the few, Or can it step into the global spotlight as one of the world's great investment stones? Share your perspective in the comments, because your view shapes this dialogue. And one final question to spark debate. Do you believe cat's eye chrysoberyl could one day rival sapphire or ruby in prestige and desirability? Rank 21, Tanzanite, the one-generation gem of Africa. Rank 21 takes us to the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro, where a gemstone of otherworldly beauty was discovered less than a century ago. This is Tanzanite, the one-generation gem of Africa. At first glance, it radiates a deep blue with flashes of violet, but turn it slightly and the stone shifts, revealing hues of burgundy or even hints of green. This dramatic pleochroism makes Tanzanite one of the most captivating gems of the modern age. If you thought true legends needed thousands of years to earn their place, leave a comment below, because Tanzanite is living proof that even a young discovery can climb into the ranks of the world's most valuable stones. Tanzanite's story begins in 1967, when a Maasai tribesman stumbled upon shimmering blue crystals in the Marilani Hills of northern Tanzania. Soon after, the world realized that this was no sapphire, but a new variety of zoisite, a gem so unique it would be found in only one place on Earth. Tiffany and Company quickly recognized the allure of Tanzanite, launching it into global fame and naming it after its homeland. Unlike ruby, emerald, or diamond, which are mined across continents, Tanzanite is an actual single-source gemstone, confined to a tiny region only a few kilometers wide. Geologists estimate that within a generation, perhaps within the next 25 to 30 years, Tanzanite's mines may be exhausted forever. In its raw form, Tanzanite crystals often appear brownish or dull in color. It requires careful heat treatment to bring out the deep blue-violet hues for which the gem is known. But once polished, Tanzanite comes alive, showing different colors depending on the angle of the light. Jewelers often cut it to highlight its royal blue, but collectors value specimens that display all three colors, blue, violet, and burgundy, in a single stone. Its unique optical personality makes every piece a conversation in color. On the market, Tanzanite commands prices that reflect both its beauty and its scarcity. Fine stones sell for $1,500 to $4,000 per carat, with top-quality specimens exceeding those numbers. Large, clean gems over 10 carats are increasingly rare, and when they appear at auction, they can rival sapphires in price. Designer brands have embraced Tanzanite for its contemporary appeal, and its status as a December birthstone has expanded its popularity beyond traditional collectors. Culturally, Tanzanite has been embraced not only as a jewel of Africa, but as a symbol of life's milestones. In the Maasai community, it is often gifted to newborn children as a blessing of new beginnings. Globally, it has become associated with transformation and rebirth, qualities that resonate strongly in a changing world. Unlike older gems tied to ancient myths, Tanzanite's story is still being written, which makes it especially exciting for modern buyers. Looking toward 2026, Tanzanite's outlook is compelling. Its single-source origin makes it vulnerable to depletion, and once the mines close, there will be no new supply. This looming scarcity is already influencing collectors, who view Tanzanite not just as a gem of beauty, but also as a once-in-a-lifetime investment. Experts predict that as supplies diminish, the value of fine stones, huge, vividly colored specimens, will continue to climb. For many, Tanzanite represents a fleeting opportunity, the chance to own a gem that future generations may only read about. A gemstone of youth, but with a destiny of legend, Tanzanite shines as Africa's gift to the world. Rare, beautiful, and finite. But the question remains, will it be remembered as a passing trend of the 20th century? Or will it rise to join ruby, emerald, and sapphire as a permanent pillar of the gemstone world? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your insight helps shape the debate. And one last question to spark discussion. Do you believe Tanzanite, with its one-generation supply, could one day surpass sapphire in both fame and price? Rank 20, Spinel, the imposter that became a legend. Rank 20 takes us to a gemstone that, for centuries, lived in disguise, often mistaken for a ruby or sapphire, but now stands proudly on its own. This is Spinel, the imposter that became a legend. In the crowns of kings and queens, some of the most famous rubies in history, including the Black Prince's ruby and the British crown jewels, were later revealed to be Spinel. What once was a case of mistaken identity is now a story of rediscovery, as Spinel emerges as one of the most sought-after gems of the modern era. If you thought Spinel was just a common substitute, leave a comment below, because this so-called imposter is rewriting its destiny. Spinel is found in some of the world's most storied gemstone locations: Burma, Myanmar, Tajikistan, Sri Lanka, and Vietnam. The Mogok region of Burma, famous for pigeon's blood rubies, also yields vivid red spinels so pure that even experts once confused them with rubies. In Tajikistan's Pamir Mountains, spinels of electric pink and flame red have been unearthed, stones that glow with an intensity unmatched by most natural gems. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka produces a rainbow of spinel colors, from lavender and cobalt blue to rare orange and violet hues. Geologically, spinel forms in metamorphic rocks under intense heat and pressure. It crystallizes into octahedral shapes, often sharp and gemmy, making it a cutter's delight. Unlike many other gems, Spinel is rarely treated or enhanced, meaning its beauty is almost always entirely natural. Its brilliance and hardness make it durable for everyday wear, a fact that has only increased its popularity among modern jewelers. On the market, Spinel's reputation has undergone a dramatic transformation. Once overlooked, it is now recognized as a collector's gem. Fine red spinels rival rubies in appearance, but at a fraction of the price, though that gap is closing quickly. Today, top-quality red spinels command $4,000 to $8,000 per carat, while cobalt blue spinels can exceed $10,000 per carat. Large, clean stones are scarce and have achieved six-figure sums at auction. What was once the imposter is now a star in its own right. Culturally, Spinel's story is one of redemption. For centuries, it adorned royal crowns and treasures, mistakenly celebrated as a ruby. But instead of losing value when its true identity was revealed, Spinel gained intrigue. Collectors now prize it precisely because of its royal history and the inherent brilliance of its natural beauty. Jewelry houses have begun to embrace Spinel for its vibrant hues, presenting it not as a substitute, but as a gemstone with its own character and prestige. Looking toward 2026, Spinel's growth appears strong. As rubies and sapphires become more expensive and difficult to source, collectors are turning to Spinel as both an alternative and a rival. The finest red and cobalt blue spinels are already scarce, and demand from Asia, particularly China, is fueling rapid appreciation. Experts predict that Spinel will continue to rise in value, establishing itself as one of the most essential colored stones of the 21st century. A gem once hidden in plain sight, Spinel proves that history can change a stone's destiny. Once misnamed, now celebrated, it has transformed from imposter to legend. But the question remains, will Spinel one day stand beside ruby, emerald, and sapphire as a permanent member of the world's big four gemstones? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your perspective shapes the debate. And one last question to spark discussion. Do you believe Spinel, with its royal history and natural brilliance, deserves to be valued on par with ruby? Rank 19. Demantoid Garnet, the green flame of the Tsars. Rank 19 takes us into the heart of Russia's Ural Mountains, where a gemstone once reserved for royalty glows with a fire that rivals diamond itself. This is Demantoid Garnet, the green flame of the Tsars. At first glance, it dazzles with a vivid green, but under light, it bursts into a rainbow of sparks, scattering fire more brilliantly than almost any other stone on Earth. If you thought garnet was only a common red gem, leave a comment below, because Demantoid rewrites everything you thought you knew about this family of stones. Demantoid was first discovered in the mid-19th century in Russia's Ural Mountains, and it quickly captured the imagination of Europe. The name Demantoid comes from the Dutch word for diamond, demant, because its dispersion, or fire, rivals that of diamond. Russian aristocrats, including the Tsars, adored this gem, and master jewelers like Fabergé made it a centerpiece of their creations. To wear Demantoid was to signal not only wealth, but also refinement, and it became a status symbol in Imperial Russia. Geologically, Demantoid is a variety of Andradite garnet, colored green by chromium and iron. What makes it especially prized are the delicate horsetail inclusions, golden wisps of bacillite fibers that curl inside the crystal. Far from lowering its value, these inclusions actually confirm authenticity and origin, and collectors pay premiums for stones with strong, beautiful horsetail patterns. In rough form, Demantoid crystals are often small and fragile, but once cut, their brilliance and fire can outshine gems many times their price. Mining Demantoid has never been easy. The Ural deposits are limited, and most crystals are under 1 carat in size. Larger, clean stones above 2 or 3 carats are scarce. In addition to Russia, deposits have been found in Namibia and Madagascar, but connoisseurs still prize Russian stones above all others, particularly those with fine horsetail inclusions. Miners often sift through river gravels and rugged rock formations under harsh conditions, making each discovery a hard-won achievement. In today's market, Demantoid is one of the most valuable garnets. Fine stones sell for $5,000 to $9,000 per carat, with top Russian specimens exceeding those numbers. Large, clean gems can reach astonishing prices at auction, rivaling sapphires and emeralds of similar size. A jewelry set with Demantoid often carries a premium not only for its beauty, but also for its rarity, as the global supply remains extremely limited. From an investment perspective, Demantoid's future looks strong. Its rarity ensures that demand will always outpace supply, especially as collectors and investors seek out alternatives to the traditional Big Three gems. In 2026, experts expect prices to remain on an upward trend, particularly for Russian stones with documented provenance and visible horsetail inclusions. For many, owning a Demantoid is not just about jewelry, but about possessing a piece of history once reserved for emperors and artisans of extraordinary skill. A gemstone that combines the green of emerald, the fire of diamond, and the legacy of Russian royalty, Demantoid garnet is more than just another stone. It is a fusion of beauty, history, and rarity. But the real question is, will Demantoid remain a connoisseur's treasure, or can it step into the global spotlight and claim its place among the greats? Share your perspective in the comments, because your insight enriches this dialogue. And one last question to spark discussion. Do you believe Demantoid garnet could one day rival emerald as the world's most desired green gemstone? Rank 18. Emerald, the eternal vision of green. Rank 18 brings us to a gemstone whose vivid green has been celebrated for over 4,000 years. This is emerald, the eternal vision of green. To the ancients, its color symbolized rebirth, fertility, and divine vision. Cleopatra filled her palaces with emeralds, Spanish conquistadors carried them back from the New World, and today, emeralds remain one of the most prized gems in the world. Yet behind its beauty lies a story of fragility, rarity, and staggering value. If emerald's legendary status still surprises you, leave a comment below, because its journey is far richer than most imagine. Emerald is a variety of the mineral beryl, colored by traces of chromium and vanadium. While beryl can form in many colors, emerald's deep green is unique, unmatched in intensity. The finest sources lie in Colombia, particularly in the mines of Muzo, Chivor, and Coscuez. Colombian emeralds are famed for their pure, vibrant hue, often described as green fire. Other significant sources include Zambia, Brazil, and Afghanistan, but connoisseurs still insist that Colombian stones represent the gold standard. Mining emeralds is both a dangerous and challenging endeavor. In Colombia, miners descend into narrow tunnels carved through ancient shale and limestone, searching for veins that may yield just a few precious crystals. Most emeralds are small and riddled with inclusions, known poetically as the gem's jardin or garden. These internal features are accepted as part of the stone's identity, distinguishing it from the cleaner, but often less vivid green of other sources. Large, flawless emeralds are among the rarest gems on Earth. When cut, emerald reveals a luminous depth unlike any other gem. The step cut, or emerald cut, was developed specifically for this stone, protecting it from breaking while highlighting its color. A fine emerald does not need brilliance like a diamond. Instead, its power lies in its saturated velvety green glow. Hold one under sunlight, and it seems almost to breathe, radiating a life force that explains why civilizations have long revered it. On the market, emerald has always commanded extraordinary prices. Fine Colombian stones can reach $5,000 to $10,000 per carat, with exceptional pieces selling for far more. Record-breaking emeralds, such as the Rockefeller emerald, have fetched millions at auction. Even smaller stones set in antique jewelry by Cartier or Tiffany can sell for tens of thousands of dollars, underscoring the enduring prestige of emeralds. Culturally, emerald has been revered across continents. In India, Mughal emperors inscribed prayers into massive emeralds, believing they carried spiritual power. In South America, the Muisca people worshipped them as gifts of the gods. Today, emerald continues to symbolize luxury and immortality, appearing in royal collections and on Hollywood red carpets. Its reputation as one of the big three gemstones, alongside ruby and sapphire, secures its place in history. Looking toward 2026, emerald's outlook remains strong. With Colombian mines facing resource challenges and Zambian stones gaining recognition for their clarity, demand continues to grow worldwide. As untreated, fine emeralds become increasingly scarce, their value is expected to rise steadily. Collectors now prize emerald not only for beauty, but also as a hedge against scarcity, a natural treasure that cannot be replicated. A gem of vision and vitality, emerald connects us to both earth and eternity. Its green flame has inspired kings, queens, and civilizations across time. But the question is, will emerald continue to hold its throne among the greats? Or will rising contenders like Paraiba, Tourmaline, or Spinel challenge its crown? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your perspective fuels the conversation. And one final question to ignite debate. Do you believe emerald will remain forever in the big three? Or could a new gem rise to take its place in the decades ahead? Rank 17, Imperial Jadeite, the royal green of the East. Rank 17 introduces us to a gemstone that is more than just a jewel. It is a cultural icon, revered in the East as the very essence of life, wealth, and immortality. This is Imperial Jadeite, the royal green of the East. At first glance, it glows with a rich, almost electric green, a color so pure and intense that it seems to radiate its own light. Unlike emerald, jadeite does not sparkle with facets. Instead, it glows softly, like a pool of eternal spring water. For centuries, it has been a gemstone of emperors and dynasties, commanding prices that rival and even surpass those of rubies, sapphires, and diamonds. If this surprises you, leave a comment below, because jadeite's story is as much about culture as it is about commerce. Imperial jadeite comes almost exclusively from Myanmar, formerly Burma, specifically from the legendary mines of Hpakan in Kachin State. Here, miners dig into riverbeds and rugged hillsides under arduous conditions, seeking boulders of jadeite that may conceal treasure beneath their rough exteriors. Most jadeite is pale or mottled, but once in a great while, a piece emerges with the deep, translucent green that defines imperial jade. These are the stones that emperors of China once demanded for their courts, stones that still inspire fierce competition among collectors today. Geologically, jadeite is a sodium-aluminum silicate, distinct from its cousin nephrite. What makes imperial jadeite so valuable is its extraordinary combination of translucency, texture, and vivid hue. Under light, it glows from within, the surface silky smooth, the body pure and unblemished. Expert cutters in Hong Kong and Myanmar shape jadeite into cabochons, beads, and carvings, each piece evaluated not only for its size but also for the harmony of its color and texture. Unlike most gems, jadeite is often judged as much by feel as by sight. On the market, imperial jadeite has set records that astonish even seasoned collectors. Top-quality cabochons can sell for $5,000 to $12,000 per carat, but the finest, flawless stones often reach far higher prices. In Hong Kong auctions, jadeite jewelry has commanded millions, with single necklaces selling for over $10 million. Unlike many other gems, jadeite's value is driven not only by rarity, but by its cultural importance, especially in China, where it symbolizes health, wealth, and eternity. For many families, owning Imperial jadeite is not just an investment, but an inheritance, a treasure to be passed down through generations. Culturally, jadeite holds a unique status. In Chinese history, jade was referred to as the stone of heaven, and Confucius praised its virtues, deeming it to embody wisdom, justice, and compassion. During the Qing dynasty, Imperial jadeite became a symbol of imperial power, worn only by those of the highest rank. Even today, jade bangles are worn as protective talismans, believed to absorb harm and preserve the wearer's life. No other gemstone blends spiritual, cultural, and financial significance quite like Imperial jadeite. Looking ahead to 2026, the outlook for Imperial jadeite remains exceptionally strong. As Myanmar's mines produce fewer high-quality stones, scarcity is driving prices upward. Demand from Chinese collectors shows no sign of slowing, and Western investors are beginning to recognize jadeite as a serious asset. Unlike many gems that fluctuate in fashion, jadeite's cultural roots give it stability. It is not just a stone to wear, but a stone to revere. Experts predict that the finest Imperial jadeite will continue to appreciate, cementing its place as one of the most valuable gemstones on Earth. A glowing green flame from the heart of Burma, Imperial jadeite is more than a gem. It is a legacy of kings and cultures. But the question is, will it remain forever the royal gem of the East? Or can it conquer the global stage alongside diamonds and rubies? Share your view in the comments, because your perspective adds to this unfolding story. And here's one final thought to spark debate. Do you believe Imperial jadeite could one day surpass diamond as the ultimate symbol of prestige and power? Rank 16, Ruby, the pigeon's blood of Burma. Rank 16 takes us into the heart of Myanmar, where one of the most legendary gemstones of all time has been unearthed for centuries. This is Ruby, the pigeon's blood of Burma. From the crowns of kings to the treasures of temples, ruby has been celebrated as the king of gemstones, its fiery red symbolizing passion, power, and eternal life. At first glance, a fine Burmese ruby glows with a color so intense that it seems almost alive, a blood-red light that pulses with fire. Collectors refer to this rare shade as pigeon's blood, a term reserved only for the deepest, most vivid reds with a hint of blue that makes the stone glow like a burning ember. If you thought ruby's reputation was exaggerated, leave a comment below, because the market tells a very different story. The most famous rubies originate from Mogok, Myanmar, a valley shrouded in mist and legend, often referred to as the Valley of Rubies. For centuries, miners there have sifted through marble gravels, searching for crystals that gleam like droplets of frozen blood. Mogok rubies are unique for their fluorescence, which makes them glow even in low light, giving them an inner fire that no other ruby can match. In recent decades, deposits in Mozambique and Thailand have also supplied the market, but true Burmese pigeon's blood rubies remain unmatched in prestige and value. Geologically, ruby is a variety of corundum, colored red by chromium. What makes Burmese rubies so special is their balance of saturation, tone, and fluorescence. Most rubies are fractured or filled with inclusions, but the rare ones that achieve both clarity and vivid color are among the most coveted gemstones in the world. Cutting rubies is an art form. The goal is not only to preserve weight, but also to reveal that perfect balance of crimson light. On the market, ruby holds a position of extraordinary strength. Fine Burmese rubies sell for $7,000 to $12,000 per carat, with record-setting stones fetching far more. In 2015, the Sunrise Ruby, a 25-carat Burmese pigeon's blood, sold at auction for over $30 million, making it one of the most expensive colored gemstones ever sold. Even smaller stones with vivid color can command astonishing prices, especially when certified as untreated. Rubies are not just jewelry, they are trophies of wealth and status. Culturally, ruby has long been regarded as the stone of kings. In India, warriors believed it granted invincibility in battle. In medieval Europe, it symbolized health and wisdom. In Burma, rubies were offered to spirits and rulers as symbols of power. Across centuries and continents, ruby has remained a universal emblem of vitality and desire. Few gemstones carry such consistent meaning across human history. Looking ahead to 2026, ruby's outlook remains strong. Burmese rubies are becoming increasingly scarce due to limited mining and political restrictions in Myanmar. As supply dwindles and demand rises, particularly from collectors in Asia and the Middle East, prices are expected to continue climbing. Mozambique rubies have eased some pressure on the market, but they cannot replace the prestige of true Burmese pigeon's blood. For investors, ruby remains not only a gemstone, but also a financial stronghold in the world of luxury assets. A gemstone that has captivated the hearts of kings, warriors, and collectors alike. The ruby is more than a jewel. It is a symbol of eternal fire. But the question is, will ruby maintain its crown as the king of gemstones? Or could rising stars like Paraiba Tourmaline or Argyle Pink Diamond challenge its throne? Share your perspective in the comments because every voice shapes this conversation. And one last question to ignite debate. Do you believe ruby will remain forever the king of colored gems? Or could another stone steal its crown in the years to come? Rank 15. Kashmir Sapphire, the velvet blue of the Himalayas. Rank 15 transports us to one of the most remote and dramatic landscapes on Earth. The snowy peaks of the Himalayas, where a gemstone of unmatched beauty was unearthed more than a century ago. This is Kashmir Sapphire, the velvet blue of the Himalayas. At first glance, its color is unlike any other, a rich cornflower blue with a velvety softness that seems to glow from within. Collectors describe it as the perfect blue, a tone so pure and mesmerizing that it has become the benchmark by which all sapphires are judged. If you thought sapphires were common, leave a comment below, because Kashmir Sapphire exists in a world of its own. The story of Kashmir Sapphire begins in the 1880s, when a landslide in the Zanskar region of Kashmir exposed veins of sapphire crystal. For just a few decades, miners extracted stones of extraordinary beauty, crystals that seemed too perfect to be real. However, by the early 20th century, the mines had been depleted, leaving only a brief legacy of production. Since then, no source on Earth has produced sapphires of the same velvety quality, making Kashmir stones legendary. Geologically, sapphire is a variety of corundum, colored by trace elements of iron and titanium. But Kashmir sapphires are unique for their soft, velvety glow, caused by tiny inclusions that scatter light evenly across the gem. Instead of diminishing value, these inclusions create the rich, misty blue that has captivated collectors for over a century. When cut, the stone does not just sparkle, it radiates as if a piece of Himalayan sky were trapped within. On the market, Kashmir sapphires are among the most expensive gems in the world. Fine stones can command $8,000 to $12,000 per carat, with record-breaking specimens selling for hundreds of thousands per carat at auction. In 2014, a 28-carat Kashmir sapphire sold for over $5 million at Sotheby's, cementing its place as one of the rarest and most valuable colored stones. Unlike rubies or emeralds, which are still mined in significant numbers, genuine Kashmir sapphires are finite. Every existing stone is a fragment of history. Culturally, sapphires have long symbolized wisdom, royalty, and divine favor. Kings and queens wore them as talismans of power and purity. In medieval Europe, they were believed to protect against envy and harm. In Asia, they were seen as conduits of spiritual clarity. But Kashmir sapphires rise above these traditions, embodying not just symbolism, but perfection itself. To own one is not only to hold a gemstone, but to hold a vanished moment in Earth's history when nature produced something so rare it may never be repeated. Looking ahead to 2026, Kashmir sapphires remain beyond reach for most, but their value as investment assets is undeniable. With no new supply and ever-increasing demand from elite collectors in Asia, the Middle East, and the West, their prices are expected to rise steadily. Unlike many gems, whose markets fluctuate, Kashmir sapphires are seen as timeless, a finite resource, comparable to great works of art. Experts agree they are not just jewelry, but cultural treasures. A gemstone that captures the sky itself, Kashmir sapphire stands as one of the purest expressions of beauty in the mineral world. But the question is, will it remain forever unmatched, or could discoveries challenge its reign? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice brings this debate to life. And one final question to spark discussion. Do you believe any modern sapphire source could ever rival the legendary Kashmir stones? Or will they remain the unattainable standard for eternity? Rank 14, Alexandrite, the chameleon gem of the czars. Rank 14 introduces us to a gemstone that seems to carry two souls within a single crystal, a stone so rare and mysterious that it was once reserved for the courts of Russian emperors. This is Alexandrite, the chameleon gem of the czars. By daylight, it glows with a lush green, as if alive with the essence of emerald. But under lamplight, it shifts to a deep crimson, like a ruby ignited from within. Jewelers call it the emerald by day, ruby by night. To see Alexandrite change before your eyes is to witness one of nature's most fantastic illusions. If that transformation astonishes you, leave a comment below, because Alexandrite is far more than a curiosity. It is a gemstone of history, rarity, and staggering value. Alexandrite was first discovered in the Ural Mountains of Russia in 1830, on the very day that Tsar Alexander II came of age, hence its royal name. For decades, the Russian aristocracy cherished it, not only for its beauty, but also because its red and green colors mirrored those of the Imperial Guard. In an age when gemstones symbolized power and prestige, Alexandrite became the perfect talisman for the ruling class. Today, Russian Alexandrite is virtually exhausted, making surviving stones national treasures. Newer deposits in Sri Lanka, Brazil, and East Africa provide fine material, but connoisseurs still prize the historical Russian specimens above all others. Geologically, Alexandrite is a variety of Chrysoberyl colored by trace amounts of chromium. What makes it extraordinary is its ability to absorb and reflect light differently depending on the source. Under sunlight or fluorescent light, it shows green to bluish green. Under incandescent light, it shifts dramatically to red or purple. This phenomenon, known as color change, is among the rarest and most dramatic optical effects in the gemstone world. On the market, Alexandrite is one of the most expensive colored gemstones. Fine stones with substantial color change can command $70,000 to $100,000 per carat, and significant, clean examples are almost priceless. Even smaller gems with vivid transformation are highly sought after, while jewelry containing Russian Alexandrite is considered museum-worthy. Auction houses have recorded six-figure sums for relatively modest stones, a reflection of how rare genuine Alexandrite has become. Culturally, Alexandrite has long been associated with duality and balance, light and shadow, day and night, fortune and fate. In Russia, it was believed to bring luck and foresight. In the metaphysical world, it is seen as a stone of transformation, attuning its wearer to cycles of change. Its mystique lies not only in its physical beauty, but in the way it mirrors life's contradictions, embodying harmony within conflict. Looking toward 2026, Alexandrite's future remains luminous. Its natural rarity ensures that demand will always outpace supply, and as awareness grows, particularly in Asian and Western investment markets, its prices continue to climb. Collectors increasingly see Alexandrite as not just a jewel, but a portfolio asset, a gem that combines historical prestige, scientific wonder, and financial value. Experts suggest that the best time to acquire fine Alexandrite may already be passing, as global supply dwindles and competition intensifies. A gemstone that holds two colors, two identities, and two stories within one body, Alexandrite is as enigmatic as it is beautiful. But the question remains, will it always be the domain of connoisseurs and royalty? Or could its legend grow into mainstream fame like diamonds and rubies? Share your view in the comments, because your voice adds dimension to this debate. And one final thought to spark discussion. Do you believe Alexandrite's dramatic color change makes it the most magical gemstone on Earth? Perhaps even more than opal or moonstone? Rank 13, Paraiba Tourmaline, the neon flame of Brazil. Rank 13 unveils a gemstone so electrifying that it seems almost unnatural, as if it were charged with light from within. This is Paraiba Tourmaline, the neon flame of Brazil. Unlike any other gem, it glows with a vivid turquoise to neon blue hue, a color so intense that it appears to radiate energy. Jewelers describe it as an ocean lit by lightning, and collectors agree. Few gemstones in history have shaken the market as Paraiba did when it first emerged in the late 1980s. If you've never seen a stone that appears to glow in the dark, leave a comment below, because Paraiba will challenge everything you thought a gemstone could be. The story of Paraiba Tourmaline begins in the state of Paraiba, Brazil, where prospector Heitor Dimas Barbosa spent years searching barren hillsides for a gem he believed existed. In 1989, his persistence was rewarded when dazzling crystals were uncovered, unlike anything the world had seen before. Their extraordinary color came from copper, an element rarely found in tourmaline. Almost overnight, Paraiba became a sensation, captivating jewelers and auction houses alike. Today, the original Brazilian mines are nearly exhausted, with newer finds in Nigeria and Mozambique producing fine material. Yet none quite match the legendary glow of Brazilian stones. Geologically, Paraiba's power lies in its chemistry. The copper and manganese content within the crystal lattice creates an electric neon effect, intensified by high light absorption and dispersion. Even in dim conditions, Paraiba seems to glow, an effect no other gemstone can replicate. Its crystals are typically small and fragile, which makes large, flawless gems exceedingly rare. Cutting requires expert precision, as every facet must strike a balance between brilliance and weight preservation. On the market, Paraiba Tourmaline has rewritten the rules of value. While ordinary tourmaline may sell for hundreds of dollars per carat, fine Paraiba Tourmaline commands $30,000 to $60,000 per carat, with some exceptional stones surpassing $80,000 per carat. Auction houses have recorded sales in the millions for necklaces and rings featuring matched sets of Paraiba. Even small rocks of intense neon blue are coveted, as demand vastly outstrips supply. Few gems in modern history have risen so quickly from obscurity to elite status. Culturally, Paraiba is already cementing its legend. Unlike rubies or sapphires, which have ancient legacies, Paraiba's fame is entirely contemporary. It is the gemstone of the modern collector, the 21st century icon of color. Designers love its neon intensity, setting it in bold, avant-garde pieces that highlight its futuristic glow. For many buyers, owning Paraiba is not just about beauty, but about possessing a piece of gemstone history in the making. Looking ahead to 2026, Paraiba's outlook remains promising. With Brazilian mines largely depleted, supply is shrinking while demand continues to rise, particularly in Asian markets. Collectors see Paraiba as both a jewel and an investment vehicle, a rare case where modern discovery rivals the ancient legends. Experts predict that prices for top stones will continue to climb, and Paraiba will maintain its place among the world's elite gems, alongside ruby, emerald, and diamond. A neon flame captured in crystal, Paraiba Tourmaline is proof that nature still has the power to astonish. But the question remains, will this modern legend endure for centuries, or will it fade as a passing fashion of our age? Share your view in the comments, because your perspective keeps this conversation alive. And one final thought to spark debate. Do you believe Paraiba Tourmaline, with its electric glow, could one day surpass even sapphire as the most desired blue gem on Earth? Rank 12, Demantoid, the starry blue of California. Rank 12 brings us to a gemstone so rare that it is found in only one place on Earth, a single valley in California. This is Demantoid, the starry blue of California. At first glance, it shines with a sapphire-like blue, but under ultraviolet light, it glows with a brilliant fluorescent halo, like stars scattered across the night sky. In 1985, Demantoid was declared the official state gem of California, but long before that, collectors already knew it as one of the most elusive treasures in the world of minerals. If you've never heard of Demantoid before, leave a comment below, because this is a story of rarity, beauty, and vanishing supply. Demantoid was discovered in San Benito County, California in 1907, when prospectors mistook the vivid blue crystals for sapphire. Soon, gemologists realized it was a new mineral entirely, unlike anything found before. The stone was named after the region, and for more than a century, the Demantoid gem mine has remained the only significant source of gem-quality crystals. While tiny deposits have been noted elsewhere, none have produced stones of cutting quality. This makes Demantoid one of the rarest commercially available gems on the planet. Geologically, Demantoid is a barium-titanium silicate formed in high-pressure environments within serpentinite host rocks. Its crystals typically form as triangular prisms, often small but intensely colored. What sets it apart, beyond its rich sapphire blue hue, is its dispersion, higher even than diamond. This gives Demantoid extraordinary fire, scattering rainbow flashes of light from within the stone. Under ultraviolet light, it fluoresces a striking blue-white, a phenomenon that has only added to its mystique. Mining Demantoid is as challenging as it is rare. The deposits in San Benito are small and fragmented, with crystals typically under 2 carats in size. Large, faceable stones are incredibly scarce, and most Demantoid found is either too small or too included to be cut into faceted stones. The rarity of sizable, clean gems is why collectors often pay extraordinary premiums for even modest carat weights. Each polished stone feels less like a commodity and more like a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. On the market, Demantoid is highly valued by collectors and connoisseurs. Fine gems typically sell for $15,000 to $25,000 per carat, with exceptional stones surpassing that range. Because supply is so limited, Demantoid jewelry is rare, often custom-made for serious buyers. At auction, even small, well-cut stones generate intense bidding, reflecting their high value and desirability. Unlike diamonds or sapphires, which circulate in abundance, each Demantoid entering the market is part of a dwindling legacy. Culturally, Demantoid embodies both rarity and identity. As California's state gem, it symbolizes the pioneering spirit of discovery and the hidden wealth of the American landscape. For gem enthusiasts, it represents a secret shared among the initiated, a gemstone not defined by global fame, but by its exclusivity. Owning Demantoid is like holding a fragment of the night sky, a secret star captured in crystal. Looking toward 2026, Demantoid's outlook is clear. With its only primary mine long closed to commercial production, supply is essentially finite. This scarcity, combined with rising awareness, makes it a powerful investment stone for those who value rarity above all else. Experts predict that as awareness grows in Asia and Europe, prices will continue to climb, making Demantoid one of the strongest performers in the world of ultra-rare gems. A gemstone that glows like the stars, found only in one corner of California, Demantoid is proof that rarity is sometimes the most excellent form of beauty. But the question remains, will Demantoid stay a connoisseur's secret? Or could it one day rise into the global spotlight like ruby and sapphire? Share your perspective in the comments, because your voice adds depth to this story. And one final thought to spark debate. Do you believe Demantoid's rarity makes it more valuable than diamonds? Or does obscurity hold it back from true global fame? Rank 11. Grandidierite, the hidden blue flame of Madagascar. Rank 11 takes us to one of the rarest gemstones ever discovered, a stone so elusive that for decades, only a handful of specimens were known to exist. This is Grandidierite, the hidden blue flame of Madagascar. At first glance, its color is mysterious, hovering between blue and green, like the meeting of sea and sky. In certain angles, it glows with an inner light that feels almost otherworldly, as if it were a secret flame locked within the earth. If you've never heard of Grandidierite before, leave a comment below, because this gemstone may be one of the greatest treasures you never knew existed. Grandidierite was first discovered in 1902 in southern Madagascar by French mineralogist Alfred Lacroix, who named it after the explorer Alfred Grandidier. For much of the 20th century, only tiny fragments were known, most of them too small or opaque for jewelry. Collectors considered it more of a mineralogical curiosity than a gemstone. That changed in the early 2000s, when new deposits in Madagascar yielded transparent crystals, large enough to be faceted. Overnight, Grandidierite leapt from obscurity to the ranks of the world's most valuable gems. Geologically, Grandidierite is a magnesium iron aluminum borosilicate, a complex mineral that crystallizes in pegmatites. Its distinctive color comes from trace amounts of iron. What makes it truly extraordinary is its strong pleochroism. Under different lighting and angles, it can appear blue, green, or even colorless. This shifting personality gives Grandidierite a living quality, as if the gem itself were breathing with light. When polished into faceted stones or cabochons, the effect becomes mesmerizing, with colors that seem to shift like waves in the ocean. Mining Grandidierite is as tricky as it is rare. The crystals are typically fractured, small, and difficult to cut. Only a tiny fraction of material is transparent enough for gem use. And even then, most faceted stones weigh under 2 carats. Large, clean gems above 5 carats are almost unheard of, making them the crown jewels of private collections. Each discovery is a triumph, and every polished stone carries the weight of near impossibility. On the market, Grandidierite has quickly achieved legendary status. Fine, transparent gems sell for $10,000 to $20,000 per carat, and exceptional pieces can exceed that range. Because of its scarcity, even small faceted stones generate intense bidding at auction. Museums prize it for its rarity, while connoisseurs view it as the ultimate collector's gem. Rarer than sapphire, more challenging to find than ruby, and far less available than even Paraiba Tourmaline. Culturally, Grandidierite is still writing its story. Unlike ruby or emerald, which have centuries of lore, this gemstone is a newcomer to human appreciation. Yet its very rarity gives it mystique. To own Grandidierite is to hold something few will ever see in person, let alone wear. In a world saturated with diamonds and sapphires, Grandidierite offers exclusivity, a statement that true luxury lies in rarity, not recognition. Looking ahead to 2026, Grandidierite's outlook remains one of steady appreciation. With deposits limited and demand rising, particularly among collectors in Asia, prices are expected to climb further. Its unique color and optical properties make it attractive not just as a gem, but as a piece of natural art. Experts agree, Grandidierite is not a stone for the mass market. It is a gemstone for the elite few who value rarity above all else. A gemstone of shifting seas and hidden flames, Grandidierite reminds us that Earth still keeps secrets, waiting to be revealed. But the question is, will Grandidierite remain a collector's secret, or could it one day become a household name among the world's great gems? Share your view in the comments, because your perspective enriches the story. And one final question to spark debate. Do you believe Grandidierite's rarity will secure its place above even Paraiba Tourmaline and Alexandrite in the hierarchy of ultra-rare gems? Rank 10, Vita, the phantom gem of the desert. Rank 10 introduces us to a gemstone so rare and elusive that for decades it was little more than a whisper in the mineral world. A stone collectors called the Phantom because so few had ever seen it. This is Gemstone, the phantom gem of the desert. At first glance, it may appear delicate, with soft shades of pale blue or golden honey, but under closer inspection, it reveals a brilliance and purity that place it among the most valuable gems on Earth. If you've never heard of Gemstone before, leave a comment below, because this elusive crystal may be one of the most extraordinary secrets in gemology. Gemstone was first discovered in Siberia in 1883, named after Russian mineralogist Pavel Yeremeyev. But its fame truly began in the deserts of Namibia, where facetable crystals were found in the arid Erongo Mountains. Later discoveries in Myanmar and Madagascar added small supplies, but Namibia remains the most celebrated source. The stone's extreme rarity and delicate pastel colors make it a true collector's gem, one that rarely appears in abundance and is often found only in small, scattered deposits. Geologically, Gemstone is an aluminum barat mineral that forms in granite pegmatites, often alongside other rare stones like aquamarine and tourmaline. Its crystals are typically prismatic, sometimes colorless, sometimes golden, and most famously, clear and sky blue. The clarity of Gemstone can be exceptional, rivaling even aquamarine in transparency. When cut, its brilliance surprises, scattering light with a crisp, glassy fire. Yet its fragile availability means few cutters ever get to work with it, and each faceted stone becomes a piece of geological art. Mining Geromegevite is an unpredictable challenge. Unlike diamonds or sapphires, which form in structured deposits, Geromegevite appears sporadically, often as isolated crystals hidden within problematic pegmatite veins. Prospectors in Namibia describe the thrill of breaking open rock only to find a single, perfect crystal, a discovery that may never be repeated in the same spot. This scarcity has made Geromegevite one of the rarest gemstones in the world, more often found in museum cases than in jewelry stores. On the market, Geromegevite is a connoisseur's treasure. Fine blue stones can command $8,000 to $15,000 per carat, and exceptional specimens can sell for even more. Because the supply is so limited, extensive, and clean stones are nearly priceless, with only a handful of gems exceeding 5 carats known to exist in the world. For many collectors, owning Geromegevite is less about wearing it and more about possessing one of nature's rarest marvels, a gemstone that almost seems like a ghost. Culturally, Geromegevite has yet to establish the myths associated with ruby or emerald, but its allure lies in its mystery. Collectors often describe it as a gem that represents the frontier of discovery, a reminder that the earth still holds secrets waiting to be uncovered. Its rarity means that even seasoned jewelers may never encounter one in their careers, making it all the more desirable for those who seek exclusivity. Looking toward 2026, Geromegevite's value is expected to rise steadily. As supply remains microscopic and global awareness increases, especially in elite collector markets, prices are poised for growth. Experts warn that because it is so rare, opportunities to acquire Geromegevite may vanish quickly, making it less a commodity and more a once-in-a-lifetime acquisition. A phantom born of deserts and pegmatites, Geromegevite is a stone that reminds us of nature's unpredictability and wonder. But the question is, will Geromegevite remain a ghostly secret known only to collectors, or will it step into broader recognition as one of the world's ultimate rare gems? Share your view in the comments, because your insight adds to this unfolding story. And one final question to spark debate. Do you believe Geromegevite's extreme rarity will push it beyond stones like Demantoid or Grandidiorite in the hierarchy of collectible gems? Rank 9. Tsavorite, the accidental discovery worth a fortune. Rank 9 introduces us to a gemstone so rare that even its discovery was a matter of chance, a mistake that rewrote gemological history. This is Tsavorite, the accidental discovery worth a fortune. In 1945, gemologist Richard Topaz purchased what he thought was a Spinel from a Dublin jeweler. However, upon closer examination, he noticed unusual optical properties, and subsequent tests revealed it to be an entirely new mineral. To this day, Tsavorite remains one of the very few gemstones first identified from a cut and polished stone rather than from a rough crystal. If that twist of fate surprises you, leave a comment below, because Tsavorite's story is a reminder that nature's secrets often reveal themselves when least expected. Tsavorite is found in only a handful of locations worldwide: Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and southern Tanzania. Its crystals are incredibly scarce, usually appearing alongside Spinel in alluvial deposits. The similarities between Tsavorite and Spinel are so strong that for decades many stones were misidentified, slipped through hands as just Spinel, and lost to history. Even today, gemologists sometimes struggle to distinguish them without advanced testing. This rarity, combined with its history of mistaken identity, makes Tsavorite one of the ultimate collector's gems. Geologically, Tsavorite is a complex mineral containing beryllium, magnesium, and aluminum, forming under unusual conditions within metamorphic rocks. What sets it apart is its double refraction, unlike Spinel, which is singly refractive. This gives Tsavorite a subtle sparkle and brilliance unique to its structure. Its colors range from soft lavender and mauve to pink, red, and even colorless. The finest stones display a vivid lilac or raspberry red hue, shades that rival Sapphire and Spinel at their best. Mining taphite is a near impossible task because it is almost always found as tiny grains mixed with spinel gravels. Separating and identifying it requires patience and expert knowledge. Most taphite crystals are under 1 carat in size, and faceable stones above 2 carats are exceedingly rare. This scarcity means that every cut taphite is celebrated as an exceptional geological gift, with museums and collectors eagerly competing for any available specimen. On the market, taphite ranks among the most valuable gemstones. Fine stones can sell for $15,000 to $30,000 per carat, with exceptional colors and sizes commanding even more. Because so few stones reach the market each year, demand consistently outpaces supply, keeping values strong. Auction houses occasionally feature taphite, but its appearances are rare, and bidding is fierce. For connoisseurs, owning taphite is not just about beauty. It is about holding a piece of gemological history that almost slipped into obscurity. Culturally, taphite has no ancient myths or legendary tales. Its fame lies instead in its modern mystery. Unlike ruby or emerald, celebrated for thousands of years, taphite is a stone of discovery and science. Its story resonates with those who value rarity, curiosity, and the thrill of the unknown. For many collectors, it represents the idea that even in the modern age, Earth still has secrets hidden in plain sight. Looking ahead to 2026, the value of taphite is expected to grow steadily. With supply so limited and awareness increasing, particularly in Asian markets, prices for fine stones are likely to continue climbing. As one of the world's ultimate collector's gems, taphite stands not only as an investment, but also as a symbol of the unpredictable beauty of nature. A gemstone born of chance, mistaken for something ordinary, and revealed as extraordinary, taphite proves that rarity is often where we least expect it. But the question remains, will taphite always be the quiet prize of specialists, or could it rise to broader fame like Alexandrite or Paraiba Tourmaline? Share your perspective in the comments, because your insight shapes the conversation. And one final question to spark debate. Do you believe taphite's accidental discovery makes it the most mysterious of the world's rare gemstones? Rank 8, Muscovite, the shadow twin of taphite. Rank 8 reveals a gemstone so rare that for decades, only a handful of specimens were known to exist. A mineral often confused with its sibling, taphite, yet even scarcer. This is Muscovite, the shadow twin of taphite. At first glance, it resembles a soft gray, green, or violet crystal, but under light, it radiates with a subtle brilliance that places it among the most exclusive stones ever discovered. If taphite was a gem revealed by chance, then Muscovite is the gem defined by scarcity. And if that rarity surprises you, leave a comment below, because Muscovite may be one of the hardest gemstones on Earth to ever truly own. Muscovite was first discovered in 1967 in the remote Musgrave Ranges of South Australia, from which it takes its name. For years, it was so scarce that only mineral collectors even knew of its existence. Eventually, small deposits were found in Sri Lanka, Madagascar, Tanzania, and Greenland, but the supply remains vanishingly small. Even today, the total number of faceted stones in circulation is counted in mere dozens. This makes Muscovite not just rare, but almost mythical in the gemstone world. Geologically, Muscovite is part of the same mineral family as taphite, magnesium aluminum oxide with traces of iron. Like taphite, it is doubly refractive, giving it a distinct optical character compared to Spinel, which it closely resembles. Its colors range from grayish-green to deep violet, sometimes with smoky undertones that give it a mysterious, almost ethereal presence. Unlike more vibrant gems, Muscovite's power lies in its subtlety, a stone that whispers rarity rather than shouting brilliance. Mining Muscovite is an unpredictable endeavor, because it forms in metamorphic rocks and pegmatites, often alongside sapphires and spinels. Locating usable crystals requires luck as much as geological skill. Even when found, most crystals are too small or fractured to be cut and polished. Faceable gems above 2 carats are nearly unheard of, and collectors or investors immediately claim each one that reaches the market. On the market, Muscovite commands prices that reflect its near-mythical scarcity. Fine stones can sell for $20,000 to $35,000 per carat, with exceptional specimens reaching even higher. Auction houses rarely feature muscovite, not because it is undervalued, but because there are too few stones to sell. For high-end collectors, it represents the pinnacle of exclusivity. Rarer than ruby, rarer than diamond, and in many cases, rarer even than Alexandrite or Paraiba Tourmaline. Culturally, musgravite lacks the long-standing myths associated with emeralds or sapphires, but its allure lies in being the collector's ultimate gem. To own one is to belong to a tiny circle of people in the world. Jewelers who work with musgravite know that each piece they set is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, a jewel that will almost certainly never be replicated. Its very scarcity gives it prestige, turning it into a modern legend. Looking toward 2026, musgravite's outlook is straightforward. With virtually no new supply and rising demand from elite markets, its value is set to climb steadily. For investors, it is less a gemstone and more a store of rarity, comparable to art masterpieces or rare coins. Experts predict that musgravite will continue to cement its place as one of the top-tier collector stones, ensuring that its legend as the shadow twin of Topaz endures. A gemstone born of geological chance and defined by scarcity, musgravite is proof that the rarest treasures of Earth are often the least known. But the question remains, will musgravite remain a silent prize for specialists, or could its shadowy allure push it into the spotlight of global fame? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your perspective fuels this conversation. And one final thought to spark debate. Do you believe musgravite's rarity makes it more valuable than fame-driven gems like ruby or emerald? Rank 7. Blue Garnet, the color-changing rarity of Madagascar. Rank 7 introduces us to a gemstone so rare that most collectors will never encounter it, a stone that defies expectations of its family and transforms itself before your eyes. This is Blue Garnet, the color-changing rarity of Madagascar. At first glance under daylight, it appears teal or bluish-green, a subtle yet mesmerizing hue. Yet when placed under incandescent light, it shifts dramatically, blazing into purplish red, almost like Alexandrite. To witness this transformation is to see two gemstones contained within one, a phenomenon so extraordinary it has made Blue Garnet one of the most coveted treasures of the 21st century. If you didn't know Garnet could do this, leave a comment below, because this discovery shocked even seasoned gemologists. Blue Garnet was first identified in the late 1990s in Madagascar. However, small deposits were also later discovered in Tanzania, Sri Lanka, and the United States. Madagascar remains the most significant source, with crystals unearthed from metamorphic rocks in the Bekele district. The gem belongs to the pyrope spessartine variety of garnet, colored by traces of vanadium, the same element that gives Alexandrite its dramatic shifts. However, while Alexandrite is centuries old in human history, Blue Garnet is a newcomer, a modern legend that is just beginning to establish its place. Geologically, Blue Garnet is a marvel of light and chemistry. Its ability to change color depends on vanadium's absorption of different wavelengths of light. In daylight, dominated by blue wavelengths, the stone reflects teal and blue-green hues. Under incandescent light, rich in red wavelengths, the same crystal reveals glowing purples and reds. This makes Blue Garnet a living stone. Its personality shifts with the time of day, the environment, and even the flicker of a candle flame. Mining Blue Garnet is complicated. The crystals are rare and often small, with very few faceable pieces found each year. Large, clean stones above 2 carats are exceedingly rare, and gems above 5 carats are virtually unheard of. Each polished gem requires careful cutting to maximize both brilliance and color shift, making lapidary work as much a science as an art. On the market, Blue Garnet is one of the most valuable garnets, far surpassing the traditional reds and oranges of its cousins. Fine stones typically sell for $15,000 to $30,000 per carat, with exceptional specimens exceeding those figures. In 2003, a 4.2-carat Blue Garnet from Madagascar was sold at auction for over $6.8 million. a price that stunned the gemstone world and cemented its reputation as one of the rarest and most desirable stones. Since then, its value has remained strong, fueled by both scarcity and fascination. Culturally, blue garnet is still writing its story, but its symbolism resonates with ideas of transformation, duality, and mystery. Like Alexandrite, it is celebrated as a stone of change, representing adaptability and resilience. For collectors, it serves as proof that even within well-known gem families, nature still has surprises to reveal. Its rarity ensures that it is not just a gem to wear, but a gem to marvel at, a conversation piece, a scientific wonder, and a financial investment all at once. Looking ahead to 2026, blue garnet's outlook remains strong. With so few stones entering the market and demand growing worldwide, its value is expected to rise steadily. Collectors in Asia and Europe are increasingly competing for every specimen, and investors view it as one of the ultimate rarity-driven assets. Unlike more common gems, blue garnet has no large-scale production, ensuring its legend will only grow stronger as supplies remain microscopic. A gemstone that changes with the light, blue garnet is a reminder that beauty is never fixed, but constantly evolving. But the question is, will blue garnet remain the hidden jewel of specialists, or could it rise to rival Alexandrite as the ultimate color change stone? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your perspective adds depth to this story. And one last question to spark debate. Do you believe blue garnet's rarity and dramatic color change will one day make it more valuable than Alexandrite itself? Rank 6. Black opal, the rainbow fire and darkness. Rank 6 reveals a gemstone that carries an entire universe within its surface. A stone where flashes of red, green, blue, and violet dance against a dark backdrop like galaxies set aflame. This is black opal, the rainbow fire in darkness. Unlike ordinary opals, with their pale, milky tones, black opal is born from the depths of Australia's Lightning Ridge and is revered as the king of all opals. To gaze into one is to see a storm of color, a cosmic spectacle trapped in stone. If you thought opal was only a soft, fragile gem, leave a comment below, because black opal will shatter that impression with a brilliance few stones can match. Black opal's story begins in New South Wales, Australia, where miners at Lightning Ridge uncovered these gems in the late 19th century. What set them apart was their dark body tone, a deep base that made the opal's spectral colors blaze with unmatched intensity. While white and crystal opals are beautiful, black opal is the rarest and most valuable member of its family, accounting for less than 1% of global opal production. To this day, Lightning Ridge remains the only significant source, making every stone a piece of Australia's geological heritage. Geologically, opals are formed when silica-rich water seeps into rock crevices and slowly solidifies into microscopic spheres. In black opal, the spheres are perfectly arranged to diffract light into every color of the spectrum. The result is play of color, flashes of fire that shift with every movement. What makes black opal extraordinary is the contrast. Vivid reds, greens, and purples blazing against a dark, smoky base, creating the effect of rainbow lightning striking through midnight skies. Mining black opal is grueling, often carried out by small-scale miners known as opal diggers. They burrow through complex clay layers, hoping to find the rare seam that conceals fiery gems. Most opal unearthed is of commercial grade, with only a tiny fraction qualifying as high-quality black opal. And among those, stones with brilliant red flashes, the rarest play of color, are considered the most valuable of all. On the market, black opal commands extraordinary prices. Fine stones typically sell for $10,000 to $30,000 per carat, with record-breaking specimens fetching over $100,000 per carat. In 2008, the famous Olympic Australis black opal, weighing over 17,000 carats, was valued at more than $2.5 million, though as a specimen, its worth is considered priceless. Jewelry houses around the world covet these stones, but supply remains so limited that most never reach mainstream markets. Culturally, opal has long been seen as a mystical gem, linked with visions, creativity, and even superstition. In Australia, black opal is a national treasure, symbolizing the fiery spirit of the land. For collectors, it represents not just beauty, but storytelling. No two stones are ever alike, each one a singular canvas of cosmic color. Where diamonds are valued for uniformity, black opals are celebrated for individuality, making them deeply personal gems. Looking toward 2026, black opal's value is expected to continue rising. With Lightning Ridge's production declining and global demand increasing, particularly in Asian luxury markets, the rarity of fine stones ensures continued appreciation. Collectors see black opal not only as a jewel, but as natural art, pieces of Earth's most dazzling palette, never to be duplicated. A gemstone that holds the rainbow in darkness, black opal is both fragile and eternal, ordinary in composition, yet extraordinary in effect. But the question remains, will black opal remain a connoisseur's jewel, or could its fiery play of color propel it into the ranks of the ultimate global icons? Share your view in the comments, because your perspective fuels the dialogue. And one last question to spark debate. Do you believe black opal's cosmic fire makes it more magical than even a diamond? Rank 5, red beryl, the scarlet flame, rarer than diamond. Rank 5 brings us to a gemstone so rare that geologists estimate it is found at a ratio of 1 crystal for every 150,000 diamonds. This is red beryl, the scarlet flame, rarer than diamond. At first sight, it burns with an intense, raspberry red glow, as though lit from within. Unlike ruby, whose red is fiery and bold, red beryl has a softness, almost like velvet touched by light. And yet its rarity makes it one of the most unattainable treasures in the gemstone world. If you thought diamond was the pinnacle of scarcity, leave a comment below, because red beryl proves otherwise. Red beryl, also known as bixbyte, was first discovered in the early 1900s in Utah, USA, specifically in the Wawa Mountains. While small crystals have been identified in New Mexico and Mexico, only Utah has produced gem-quality material. Even there, production is minuscule, with only a few carats of faceable stone extracted each year. Most crystals are tiny, riddled with fractures, or too thin to cut, making large transparent specimens virtually unheard of. Geologically, red beryl is part of the beryl family, which also includes emerald and aquamarine. Its vivid red color comes from trace amounts of manganese, a rare occurrence in beryl's crystal structure. The conditions needed for red beryl to form are so unusual, requiring volcanic gases to interact with cooling rhyolite rock, that scientists describe it as a miracle of geology. This explains why deposits are so limited and why no large-scale mining operation has ever succeeded. Cutting red beryl is an art of patience and precision. Most crystals are under half a carat when faceted, and gems over 2 carats are considered world-class rarities. Yet even the smallest stones glow with a beauty unlike any other, their raspberry hues intensified by high brilliance and transparency. Collectors often favor step cuts and ovals, which showcase the depth of color without sacrificing weight. On the market, red beryl is one of the most expensive gemstones per carat. Fine stones typically sell for $10,000 to $20,000 per carat, while large clean gems above 1 carat can exceed $30,000 per carat. Auction houses treat red beryl as a geological marvel, and demand consistently outpaces supply. Unlike more common gems, where price depends on size and clarity, red beryl's rarity means that any gem-quality stone is precious. Culturally, red beryl has not had centuries of legend like ruby or emerald, but its mystique lies in its modern scarcity. For collectors, it represents the ultimate challenge, a stone so rare that few will ever hold one in their hands. For jewelers, it is a canvas of exclusivity, used sparingly in high jewelry pieces designed to highlight its rarity rather than volume. It is not just a gemstone, it is a geological whisper, a fleeting gift from Earth. Looking toward 2026, red beryl's value shows no signs of slowing. With Utah's mines producing less material each year and global demand increasing, particularly among elite collectors, its price trajectory remains firmly upward. Experts predict that red beryl will continue to be prized not only for beauty, but as an investment asset, comparable to rare art or vintage wines, treasures whose value only grows with time. A gemstone rarer than diamond, glowing with the fire of Earth's most improbable conditions. Red beryl is both delicate and priceless. But the question is, will red beryl remain forever a collector's secret, or can its scarlet flame burn bright enough to join the ranks of ruby and emerald in global fame? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your perspective adds to this unfolding story. And one last question to spark debate. Do you believe red beryl's rarity makes it the true king of red gems, even above ruby? Rank 4, Pink Star Diamond, the $71 million flame of eternity. Rank 4 brings us face to face with one of the most famous gemstones ever sold under the hammer. A diamond so rare, so vividly colored, that it redefined the market for fancy colored diamonds. This is the Pink Star Diamond, the $71 million flame of eternity. At first glance, its body glows with a pure, vibrant pink, neither too pale nor too dark, but a perfectly balanced hue that seems to radiate from within. Diamonds are celebrated for their fire and brilliance, but the pink star shows us something greater. That color itself, when perfectly expressed, can be worth more than any sparkle. If you thought white diamonds ruled unchallenged, leave a comment below, because the pink star's story proves otherwise. The pink star was unearthed by De Beers in Africa in 1999 as a massive 132-carat rough diamond. Over the course of 2 painstaking years, master cutters studied the crystal, shaping it into a flawless, oval-cut stone of 59.60 carats. What they revealed was a treasure of unparalleled beauty, the largest known internally flawless fancy vivid pink diamond ever graded by the Gemological Institute of America. Unlike many colored diamonds, which show secondary hues or uneven tones, the pink star displays a saturated pink that is both intense and pure, placing it in a category all its own. Geologically, pink diamonds are among the greatest mysteries of Earth. Unlike blue diamonds, colored by boron, or yellow diamonds, tinted by nitrogen, the pink hue is caused by distortions in the crystal lattice, tiny twists in the diamond's atomic structure that bend light into shades of rose. Only a handful of mines in history, most famously the Argyle mine in Australia, have produced significant quantities of pink diamonds. With the closure of Argyle in 2020, stones like the pink star have become even more untouchable. On the market, the pink star has made history. In 2017, it was sold at Sotheby's in Hong Kong for a staggering $71.2 million, setting a world record for the most expensive gemstone ever sold at auction at that time. Its sheer size, perfect clarity, and unmatched color placed it in a category beyond rarity, a one-of-one masterpiece. Even smaller, vivid pink diamonds can fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars per carat. Even smaller, vivid pink diamonds can fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars per carat. The pink star, at nearly 60 carats, is almost mythical. Culturally, pink diamonds are often associated with love, power, and exclusivity. They have graced the collections of royalty, celebrities, and billionaires. However, the pink star stands apart. It is not just jewelry, but a piece of history, a gemstone destined for museums and private vaults rather than casual wear. It embodies the idea that beauty, when pushed to its rarest extreme, becomes priceless. Looking ahead to 2026, the outlook for pink diamonds is one of steady growth. With Argyle's closure and no new primary sources in sight, supply is shrinking while demand among elite collectors surges. Experts predict that the value of fine pink diamonds will continue to climb, making stones like the pink star untouchable in price. Already, whispers suggest it may never re-enter the open market. A gemstone too rare, too valuable, and too iconic to trade again. A diamond that glows with eternal flame, the pink star represents the pinnacle of rarity, artistry, and human desire. But the question is, will pink diamonds like the pink star remain the privilege of the few, or could their legend inspire a new global obsession that reshapes the diamond market itself? Share your perspective in the comments, because your view brings this dialogue to life. And one last question to spark debate. Do you believe the pink star deserves its crown as the most valuable diamond in history, or could another colored gem one day surpass its legacy? Rank 3, The Hutton-Mdivani Jadeite necklace, the Imperial green treasure. Rank 3 leads us not to a single gemstone, but to one of the most legendary pieces of jewelry ever crafted. A necklace that combines history, culture, and rarity into a single strand. This is the Hutton-Mdivani Jadeite necklace, the Imperial green treasure. To see it is to witness perfection. 27 beads of translucent, vivid green jadeite, each flawlessly matched in size, tone, and polish. Under the light, they glow like drops of liquid emerald, smooth and alive, radiating the aura of eternity. If you thought jade was only a common ornamental stone, leave a comment below, because this necklace has commanded tens of millions at auction, proving Jadeite's place at the very top of the gemstone world. The Hutton-Mdivani necklace's story is one of glamour and dynasty. Business magnate Frank Hutton originally gifted it to his daughter, Barbara Hutton, one of the wealthiest women of the 20th century. Often referred to as the poor little rich girl, she wore it as a symbol of status and elegance, and after her marriage to Prince Alexandrite, the necklace became forever linked to their names. Its provenance alone would make it valuable, but its true worth lies in the unmatched quality of its jadeite. Jadeite, the rarest form of jade, comes almost exclusively from Burma's fabled jade mines. What distinguishes Imperial jadeite is its glowing emerald green translucency, a color so intense and pure that it appears to be lit from within. Achieving even a single bead of this quality is a geological miracle. Creating a perfectly matched necklace of 27 beads is nearly unimaginable. Each bead in the Hutton-Mdivani is about 15 millimeters in diameter, flawlessly polished to a glassy finish, with no visible flaws to disrupt its serenity. Culturally, jadeite has held supreme significance in China for millennia. Known as the Stone of Heaven, jade represents purity, virtue, and immortality. During the Qing dynasty, Imperial jadeite was reserved for emperors and the highest nobility. To this day, jadeite is revered not just as a gem, but as a spiritual and cultural symbol of life itself. The Hutton-Mdivani necklace embodies this legacy, bridging East and West, an artifact of Chinese reverence, European glamour, and global fascination. On the market, its value has reached astronomical heights. In 2014, Sotheby's Hong Kong auctioned the Hutton-Mdivani necklace for $27.44 million, a record-shattering price that stunned the gemstone world. Bought by Cartier, it now resides as part of their prestigious collection, a symbol of the house's historic connection to jadeite masterpieces. Experts note that even if one were to spend decades mining, it would be virtually impossible to recreate such a necklace again. Its rarity is absolute. From an investment perspective, jadeite, particularly Imperial jadeite, continues to rise in value, especially in Asia, where it remains deeply rooted in culture. Unlike diamonds or rubies, which are primarily judged by carat weight and clarity, jadeite is prized for its harmony, translucency, and lifelike color. The Hutton-Mdivani necklace embodies these qualities to perfection, making it less a piece of jewelry and more a cultural treasure, comparable to a Da Vinci painting or a Ming vase. Looking toward 2026, Imperial jadeite remains one of the most secure assets in the gemstone market. With Myanmar's political instability and decreasing supply, top-quality jadeite is becoming increasingly scarce every year. For collectors, owning a piece like the Hutton-Mdivani necklace is more than an investment. It is a legacy. Its value will not only endure, but likely increase as demand for cultural icons always outpaces supply. A necklace that glows with imperial green, connecting dynasties, cultures, and centuries. The Hutton-Mdivani jadeite necklace is more than jewelry. It is a world treasure, a reminder that beauty can unite history and humanity. But the question is, will jadeite continue to be revered as the ultimate stone of the East? Or will global fascination shift toward diamonds and colored sapphires? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your voice adds to this dialogue. And one final question to spark debate. Do you believe jadeite jewelry, such as the Hutton-Mdivani, deserves to be ranked above diamonds in both value and cultural significance? Rank 2, the Blue Moon Diamond, the $48 million celestial jewel. Rank 2 presents us with a diamond that seems to have been carved from the heavens themselves, a gem so rare and flawless that it redefined what the world thought possible for colored diamonds. This is the Blue Moon Diamond, the $48 million celestial jewel. To look at it is to see pure magic, a glowing, fancy, vivid blue of absolute clarity, a diamond that seems less like a crystal of earth and more like a fragment of the night sky, frozen in time. If you thought diamonds were only prized for being colorless, leave a comment below, because the Blue Moon shows us how color can transform rarity into legend. The Blue Moon was discovered in 2014 in the Cullinan mine of South Africa, a site famous for producing many of the world's most iconic diamonds, including the Cullinan diamond, now part of the British crown jewels. The rough stone weighed 29.6 carats, but after meticulous study and cutting, master artisans revealed a 12.03 carat, internally flawless, fancy vivid blue diamond, certified by the Gemological Institute of America as one of the finest ever seen. Its perfection, in terms of size, color, and clarity, is so rare that gemologists call it a once-in-a-century stone. Geologically, blue diamonds owe their extraordinary color to the presence of trace amounts of boron within their crystal lattice. This element absorbs red light, allowing the diamond to reflect stunning shades of blue. But only a fraction of 1% of all diamonds ever mined show this phenomenon. And among those, stones of vivid saturation and flawless clarity are almost unheard of. The Blue Moon is thus not only rare, it is practically unique. On the market, the Blue Moon made history when it was auctioned at Sotheby's Geneva in 2015, fetching $48.4 million, the highest price ever paid per carat for a diamond at that time. Purchased by billionaire Joseph Lau, who renamed it the Blue Moon of Josephine in honor of his daughter, the stone became instantly immortalized as one of the world's most incredible gems. For perspective, many fine white diamonds sell for tens of thousands of dollars per carat. The Blue Moon sold for nearly $4 million per carat. Culturally, blue diamonds have long been associated with mystery, royalty, and celestial power. The Hope Diamond, another famous blue gemstone, has inspired legends of both curses and fortune. The Blue Moon, however, carries no shadow, only awe. Its name reflects both its rarity, once in a blue moon, and its appearance, glowing like a slice of moonlight trapped in crystal. For modern collectors, it is the perfect fusion of science, beauty, and symbolism. Looking toward 2026, the outlook for blue diamonds remains extremely strong. With global supply dwindling and no new primary sources on the horizon, the few exceptional stones that exist continue to rise in value. Collectors in Asia and the Middle East, in particular, see them as ultimate status symbols, combining portability with enduring worth. Experts predict that the Blue Moon will remain untouchable, a gemstone unlikely to ever reappear on the market, its price destined only to grow in private hands. A diamond that glows with the light of the cosmos, the Blue Moon is more than jewelry. It is a symbol of perfection, a once-in-history phenomenon that defines the very concept of rarity. But the question remains, will blue diamonds, like the Blue Moon, hold their crown as the most desirable colored diamonds? Or could pink and red diamonds surpass them in the years to come? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your voice adds richness to this discussion. And one last question to spark debate. Do you believe the Blue Moon diamond deserves its place above all but one gem, or should it be considered the most excellent diamond of all time? Rank 1, the Koh-i-Noor diamond, the crown jewel of empires. Rank 1 crowns our journey with perhaps the most famous and controversial gemstone in history. This is the Koh-i-Noor diamond, the crown jewel of empires. At first glance, it dazzles with an icy brilliance, weighing over 105 carats in its current cut. But its value lies not only in carats or clarity, it lies in the centuries of blood, conquest, and legend woven into its story. Few gems have sparked such fascination, desire, and political tension. If you thought diamonds were only about beauty, leave a comment below, because the Koh-i-Noor is proof that gemstones can shape the destiny of nations. The Koh-i-Noor, whose name means mountain of light in Persian, has origins shrouded in mystery. Most historians trace it back to India's Golconda mines, where some of the world's most legendary diamonds were unearthed. For centuries, it passed between dynasties and conquerors, from the Mughal emperors to Persian shahs, Afghan rulers, and Sikh maharajas. Each transfer was marked not by trade, but by war, betrayal, or forced surrender. By the mid-19th century, the diamond was ceded to the British following the annexation of Punjab, and it eventually became part of the crown jewels of the United Kingdom. Geologically, the Koh-i-Noor is a Type II diamond, among the purest forms of carbon crystals known. Originally weighing over 186 carats in its rough state, it was later recut in the 19th century to enhance brilliance, though at the cost of reducing its weight to 105.6 carats. Its current oval, brilliant cut reflects light with sharp precision. Still, many historians lament the loss of its original Mughal-style charm, describing the recut as both a gain in sparkle and a loss in heritage. On the market, the Koh-i-Noor is considered priceless. While other diamonds, like the Pink Star or the Blue Moon, have fetched record-breaking sums, the Koh-i-Noor cannot be assigned a monetary value. Its worth lies in its singular history and its symbolic power as a jewel of empires. Scholars argue that if ever sold, it could surpass any gemstone auction record in history, possibly exceeding hundreds of millions of dollars. However, the truth is that it will likely never be sold. It is too deeply tied to identity, pride, and politics. Culturally, the Koh-i-Noor is both a treasure and a controversy. In South Asia, it is remembered as a stolen jewel, a symbol of colonial exploitation. In Britain, it is celebrated as part of royal tradition, set in crowns worn by Queen's consort. Its story embodies the dual nature of gemstones, objects of beauty that also serve as instruments of power. To this day, India, Pakistan, Iran, and Afghanistan have all laid claim to it, making the Koh-i-Noor as much a political question as a gemstone. Looking toward 2026, the Koh-i-Noor remains untouchable in the world of gems. It is not just a diamond, it is a cultural artifact, a relic of empire, and a living symbol of contested heritage. Its legend continues to inspire documentaries, debates, and demands for repatriation. While newer gems may surpass it in per-carat value, none can match its combination of history, mystique, and symbolism. A diamond that has outlived empires, the Koh-i-Noor is more than a jewel. It is a witness to centuries of human ambition. But the question remains, should it stay in London as part of the crown jewels, or should it return to South Asia, where its story began? Share your perspective in the comments, because your voice matters in this ongoing debate. And one last question to spark discussion. Do you believe the Koh-i-Noor's actual value lies in its beauty, or in the history and power it represents? And so we've reached the end of our journey through the top 30 most expensive gemstones in the world. Each of these treasures is more than just a stone. They are fragments of Earth's history, carrying stories of empires, cultures, and timeless beauty. From the rarest garnets to legendary diamonds, every gem on this list reminds us that rarity and value are never accidental. They are forged through time, pressure, and chance. If you've enjoyed this exploration, I'd like to express my gratitude. Your time and curiosity are what make this journey worthwhile. If you'd like to see more, don't forget to subscribe to World of Gem. It's a small gesture for you, but for us, it is the motivation to continue creating these long, detailed journeys into the secret lives of gemstones. And if you found today's video fascinating, leave a like. It helps us bring this content to more people who share your passion. However, remember that this is only the beginning. What we've uncovered today is just one chapter in a much larger story. In our next episode, we will step away from prices and auctions to dive into something even more mysterious. The sacred and forbidden gemstones once believed to possess supernatural powers. These are stones that kings worshipped, priests feared, and ancient civilizations carried into battle. Some were said to bring wisdom, while others were told to bring misfortune. And whether or not the myths are true, their legends continue to shape how we see gems today. So stay tuned, because the next journey will take you even deeper into the hidden world of precious stones, not just their value, but their myths, their mysteries, and the power they still hold over human imagination. Before we close, let me ask you this. Which gemstone from today's list surprised you the most? And do you think the #1 stone deserves its crown, Or should another gem have taken its place? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective adds life to this community. Once again, thank you for being here. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you won't miss what's coming next. Until then, take care, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next episode of World of Gem.